Now, live from Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill, here's your host, Chris Ello.
And from Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill tonight in Rancho San Diego, we welcome you to the Aztec Football Coaches Show with Rocky Long. I am Chris Ello, and Hooley's, of course, home to our Aztec Coaches Show. Famous corned beef tacos, other award-winning menu items, and Wednesdays throughout this entire football season, we have had Coach Rocky Long on hand with us to talk about what has turned into a great college football season for the San Diego State Aztecs. We also want to thank our friends at Quality First Real Estate, San Diego's top real estate company. We can help you buy, sell, and manage San Diego real estate. When it comes to real estate, it's always quality first. Click on qualityfirstrealestate.com. You can join us on the program this evening, whether you're listening on AM 600 locally or watching us on the internet. We say hi to everybody there on our little internet feed, and you can ask Coach Rocky Long some questions if you'd like. We'll have him with us for the next hour. The phone number, very simple, 1-800-600-KOGO. That is 1-800-600-KOGO. If you have any questions for Coach Rocky Long as we get ready for the Poinsettia Bowl next Thursday night, the Aztecs will be taking on the BYU Cougars. But first, let's welcome to the program the Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year, Mr. Rocky Long. Coach, congratulations on just a great season, amazing season so far. I didn't even get a chance to get down there after the Wyoming game when you won the championship a couple of weeks ago, and congratulate you. I know you were soaking wet, but you were happy. And your kids really played a great game in that second half at Wyoming to win the championship, and I know that that was the goal coming into the season, and by God, you pulled it off.
Yeah, I'm not sure that even the guys on our team, I'm not even sure that we were convinced of that before the season started, but after we had a big-time win in Reno, I think we started believing, and the players played really well throughout the season, and I think we went into every game after that thinking we were going to win the championship. I don't think we went into any place nervous or scared or intimidated or whatever the word is. Obviously, you can't do that and go into Boise and win. I was a little worried at the Wyoming game because we'd had a week off and we were really sloppy in the first half, and we didn't seem to be playing like we had up to that point. But in the second half, we played like us and found a way to win it.
I found online, you guys got to go check this out online if you're an Aztec fan. There is, if you call up San Diego State football on Google and you look up images, you ever go on the internet and look up stuff and look at pictures and stuff? Probably you don't do San Diego State football, but you might do some other stuff. So I'm looking San Diego State football to get some pictures I wanted to put on my computer to commemorate the season. And they had a still frame shot of you standing on the sidelines at Nevada, and above you is the score line, that they have on the television, and it says Nevada 38, San Diego State 37, and it has a shot of you looking out on the field, and it says right underneath the score, Aztecs attempting the two-point conversion. So this shot of you must have been no more than 10 seconds before that play, that two-point conversion that beat Nevada and maybe was the turning point of the entire season. That one play, that goes your way, and that seemed to carry you guys through the rest of the way.
I agree. Did I look nervous?
No, you looked very confident. You looked like you knew what you were doing. So, I had called it in the booth. I remember telling Ted Leitner, I said, Ted, I think the Aztecs could go for two right here and try to win it right here. And I know you and I kind of thought alike. And you called Andy Ludwig upstairs and said, we got to play. And he said, we got one. And away you went.
Yeah, you and I have been on the same page on that, going for two and going for fourth down all season long. There's been some doubters along the way. There were some doubters along the way, but I think after that game we have a whole bunch more believers now than we used to have.
How about the interesting thing, too, going back to the Wyoming game, was the very last play of the first half of the Wyoming game, you guys gave up a touchdown that really should not be given up, a Hail Mary type of pass, and they throw the ball out down to about the 25-yard line, and you guys don't get anybody to come up and make the tackle, and Wyoming gets into the end zone. They take a 28-21 lead. They go roaring into the locker room, and their crowd's excited. And we asked you after the game, I know Kevin O'Connell asked you after the game, if you talked about that play at halftime with your guys, and you said you really didn't. All you really talked about was what you guys needed to do better in the second half to win the game. And I thought that was maybe a great bit of coaching, not to focus on what had just happened, but to look ahead.
Well, I agree with you. That should not happen. I mean, we have 7 guys back there by the goal line. We want them to throw it in front of us, and then you go up and make the tackle and go in at halftime. And for some reason, we took some really bad angles, and he had a little bit more speed than we thought, and they scored. But there's absolutely no reason to talk about that about halftime. I mean, it's long gone. You're probably not going to be in that situation again in that game. All you could do is harp on it and yell and scream and make players feel bad about it. It was already happened. There's nothing to do about that. So it was a lot more important to start worrying about what we could do better on both offense and defense to get where we could win the football game. And the best part about it is, which happened after the Reno game for the rest of the year, no matter what was going right or wrong, our players, you never saw any panic in our players. Now we kind of try to pride ourselves as coaches of never showing panic on the sidelines. I really disagree with the coaches that run up and down the sidelines and jump up and down and cheer and all that kind of stuff. I think you got to show some balance, some calmness on the sidelines, or your players will be up and down too. I think your players have to believe that they can come back, or no matter what went right or wrong, they can still make it right. So, I mean, our players were not, I mean, they were disappointed on how we played at halftime, but there was no panic. There was no, okay, coach, tell us the adjustments, and let's go back out and see if we can win.
Coach, tell us what to do, and we'll make the adjustments. And you were a great second-half team last year, I thought, and then this year you became a great second-half team. It was something that you kind of developed as the season went along. Did you feel that way a little bit?
Well, I thought we were much better this year at starting out faster.
Right, you didn't put yourself in the hole the way you did last year.
Last year we were a terrible first-half team and a really good second-half team. This year I thought we were a much better first-half team. And I thought that we played pretty well, especially in the, not so much in the third quarter, but especially in the fourth quarter. We played really well all season.
Well, it was a championship season for San Diego State, and just been a phenomenal fall, really, all over campus. I know that Coach Fisher's talked a lot about this recently as they get the basketball season going, but you guys won the championship. The women's volleyball team won the championship. The women's soccer team won the Mountain West Conference Championship. So San Diego State swept the Mountain West Conference Championships this fall, and I know that you're proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, I think there was underlying pressure on everybody as the soccer team kept winning and as the volleyball team kept winning. I think our players, our football players, felt the need to keep on winning too. And it's, I mean, this does not happen everywhere. And I think it's due to veteran coaches. And we have veteran coaches in all those programs, just like we have veteran coaches in the basketball programs. There's a real camaraderie amongst the coaches. And we really care about how the other programs do. And it's funny how that filters right down to our players. I didn't know this, but we had almost 100 players go to the volleyball championship match. And I guess they were really good distracting the other team.
Yeah.
And then our team went to the girls basketball game when they played SC, and according to the girls basketball players, there were several bricks off the backboards because our team was underneath the bench or underneath the basket on one side, and at halftime switched to the other side.
Yes, they did.
Oh, you saw them? Huh?
Yeah, I was at the game.
It's very unusual to have that kind of camaraderie between the coaches, and really unusual for the teams to support each other like they do at San Diego State, which makes it kind of cool, really cool.
It made for a great fall, and it's going to make for a great winter as basketball. Obviously, everybody knows is off to a good start, both men's and women's, with Coach Steve Fisher and Coach Beth Burns' team. All right, we'll take a quick break on our Aztec Coaches Show with Rocky Long, of course. We're going to be looking ahead to the Poinsettia Bowl, which is coming up a week from tomorrow against BYU. We'll do that next. You're listening to the Aztec Coaches Show on AM 600 KOGO. Go! Welcome back to Rancho San Diego on the Aztec Coaches Show. We are at Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill in Rancho San Diego, along with the coach Rocky Long. I'm Chris Sello. Also, Hooley's in Grossmont Center, award-winning food, great draft and bottled beer selections, fantastic happy hour specials as well. Click Hooley's.com for directions and more. Hooley's is the official host location, as you know, of all of our Aztec Coaches Show, and you can come on out to Hooley's and you can see Craig, the owner. He'll buy you a beer. He's just that kind of a guy. He's just a terrific guy right over there in the back. Thanks, Craig. for having us out at Hooley's all year long. And if you're interested in buying, selling, or leasing a commercial property, Quality First Commercial is a full-service commercial real estate firm. Visit our website, qualityfirstcommercial.com. QFC, here for all of your commercial real estate needs. Some of the things that the Aztecs have accomplished already this year on the football field: a 9-3 record, most wins in a season since 1977, a 7-game winning streak, which is the longest since 1981. And the 19th school history championship conference title, which was won, of course, with that victory at Wyoming on the final weekend of the regular season. Rocky Long is with us, and now you get ready, Coach, to go into your bowl game against BYU. First of all, give us a little update on what you've been doing the last 2 or 3 weeks since we last saw you at Wyoming. Did you give the players a little time off before? Because you have a certain amount of time you can practice for a bowl game, right? It's all very regimented by the NCAA, is it not?
Well, it used to be. They've kind of relaxed a little bit since there's some teams that are playing bowl games January 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and all that sort of thing before the national championship game. Now you can practice as much as you want, but you're under the rules of the regular season, so many hours a week. We didn't do that. I mean, after the Wyoming game, we gave them about 3 days off, and then we practiced, gave them a day off and practiced, gave them a couple more days off, and then here lately we've been practicing every other day. Now, we've just been kind of doing it like spring practice. The guys that play in the game most of the time, they did some stuff against each other, and then we scrimmage the younger guys, coach the younger guys, and let them scrimmage. Starting this Tuesday, yesterday, we started putting in the game plan, and we're kind of into our regular practice routine, where most of it's scout work. We do some special teams each day, and we do a little bit against each other, but not a lot. Most of it's scout work. They got today off. We'll do that again tomorrow. They'll get Saturday off, and then we go into game week, starting with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the game's on Thursday. So now I can get everybody confused over here because Sunday's like a Monday practice, Monday's like a Tuesday's practice, and so forth and so
right.
you know. But we go into a regular game week routine starting Sunday.
How about all of the things that go along with the bowl game and the festivities and some of the things, the luncheons and the things, and how much do you like your players to experience all of that stuff leading up to the game?
It's a strange, bowl games are strange things, and I think I'd have a different feel about it if it was the national championship game. But you have to treat, in my opinion, some people don't agree with this, obviously. In my opinion, you have to treat it as a reward for the season the team has had. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in a bowl game. And so you should experience everything that the bowl provides for you. You should experience and enjoy it, realizing that there is a game at the end and we really want to win bad. But most of our players are mature enough to realize they can have a good time. Then when they go to practice, they have to concentrate and get ready to play. But there are a lot of distractions. It's not the same. It's not even close to the same as it is during the regular season. You're kind of out of routine. You practice at different times. You're on buses going, like we get to go to SeaWorld. We're going to the Chargers game on Sunday. We're going to SeaWorld on Monday. We're going to the zoo on Tuesday. When do you ever do that during the regular season? And then they get done and you feed them lunch and say, okay, let's practice.
Let's practice. Now pay attention.
Yeah, now pay attention and let's practice. So it's not the same. And I think they ought to enjoy it, though, because they've had a good year. But obviously the number one goal when you hit the field is to win. So you got to put the time and effort in to get ready to play, too.
How different is it playing a bowl game? You had a few of them when you were at New Mexico, when you played in the New Mexico Bowl. I know you were defensive coordinator a couple years ago, and the Aztecs played here in the Point City Bowl. But how different is the preparation for a bowl game played in your own town as opposed to last year where you took the team down to New Orleans for that game?
The positives far outweigh the negatives. The number one positive is that our fans get to watch us play. And they don't have to travel a great distance. Families get to watch their kids play, where they normally have this trip to San Diego where they don't have to go like last year, fly to New Orleans. Us being able to practice at the same practice facility is a big-time positive. Now, we do take the team and move into the bowl hotel so that they can experience the bowl week that way too. The negatives are that all their friends and everything are here.
Yeah.
Okay, and their friends want to enjoy the bowl festivities too. So they're, by family and friends, they're pulled a whole bunch of different ways. When you take them out of town, you can kind of isolate them. And there's not a lot of family around, so you can kind of control what they do. But the positives far outweigh the negatives. And one of the greatest experiences, I've been lucky, I've been in a lot of bowl games. And 2 years ago when we were in the Poinsettia Bowl, the way we were treated was as good or better than any bowl game I've been associated with.
Wow.
And, you know, that's really nice.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
And you guys went out and played a pretty good game a couple years ago against Navy. Anybody remembers that one? 35-14. The Aztecs took care of Navy 2 years ago. Hopefully we'll win another Poinsettia Bowl next Thursday night. All right, we'll take a break. Bottom of the hour news update. You can join the program if you'd like, listening in town or watching online. You can call if you have any questions for Coach Rocky Long, 1-800-600-KOGO. When we return, we'll talk about the vaunted BYU Cougars, the Aztecs' opponent in the Poinsettia Bowl next Thursday night. You're listening to the Aztec Coaches Show on AM 600 KOGO. Welcome back to the Aztec Football Coaches Show. Rocky Long alongside. We're at Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill in Rancho, San Diego. I want to remind you, Aztec fans out there are still some tickets available for next Thursday night, San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl between the Aztecs and the BYU Cougars. 5 o'clock kickoff next Thursday night, December the 20th. You can call 619-283-SDSU or log on to goaztecs.com. Purchase your tickets now. There's not a lot of tickets left, but there are still some tickets available for that Poinsettia Bowl game a week from Thursday. Coach, let's talk a little bit about BYU. First question I wanted to ask you is just kind of maybe a little tongue-in-cheek question, but since it was determined that you were playing BYU, have you been surprised in just going around the community at how much really dislike there is for BYU here in San Diego? Has that surprised you at all? Because I know that's the case here, just because we and I talked about it a little bit. BYU has, frankly, dominated the Aztecs over the last 3 decades, and Aztec fans don't like it very much. So I imagine you've probably seen a little of that reaction.
I've seen quite a bit of that reaction, and it doesn't really surprise me because I've been in this league a long time, and BYU has been such a great football program and had dominated this league for many, many years that everybody, has great respect for them, but everybody would love to beat them. So that doesn't surprise me at all. What's interesting, though, is I'm not sure their players see it the same way as the fans, and I know our players don't see it the same way as the fans because we haven't played each other here lately, and the last time we played, it was a very, very competitive game. There was a fumble that maybe was a fumble, maybe wasn't. So there was a very competitive game. So I think that I don't think either, and the most important people are the guys that are actually playing the game.
That's right.
And I think both teams have great respect for each other, and both teams want to win really bad, and I think both teams are very physical, and I think it's going to be a great football game.
Well, you are certainly a defensive coordinator by heart, of course, and this game at least shapes up on paper as being a defensive type of struggle. I mean, you look at BYU's defensive numbers this year, and they're outright scary. I mean, they did not allow Boise State a single point this year. Lost to Boise State 7-6, but Boise scored on a defensive touchdown. They beat Utah State, which finished in the top 20 in the country. They beat them 6-3. They didn't give them a touchdown either. So, and I know they rank very highly, top 5 in all of the categories, running defense and scoring defense and total defense and all of that. I'm sure you've had a chance to start watching them on film. What makes BYU so good this year?
Well,
at least on defense.
Well, I mean, they're always good because they're big and strong up front. And we've talked a lot about this, that the line of scrimmage has to be at least equal. It has to be competitive for the other guys to really matter. And they're really good in the offensive line, and they're really good in the front 7 on defense. They have really good big athletes at the defensive line position. They have really good big athletes at linebacker. So it starts there. And so they kind of dominate the line of scrimmage. And if you dominate the line of scrimmage, you have a great chance to win. I also think that they really have great respect for Bronco Mendenhall, and him and I coached together for a long time. His teams always play hard. They play very physical. They play with enthusiasm. They play with emotion. So they have some really big, strong guys up front, but a lot of it has to do with the attitude they play with.
Yeah, you and Bronco. Now he coached under you, if I'm not mistaken, for many years. Where was that at? New Mexico?
Well, Bronco and I were on the same staff at Oregon State.
At Oregon State.
And then he was the defensive coordinator at New Mexico when I was the head coach.
Yeah, so you taught him everything you know, and now you wish you didn't teach him so much.
Well, when he left us, and we were sad to see him go, when he left us to go to BYU, he started running the same defense, and then that just shows you how smart he is. He had different type players there than he had in the past. So he completely changed the defense that fits his players better, and that's another reason he's a smart coach. So he does what's right by the talent he has, and that's another reason they're pretty good.
To me, it's going to be a great battle of wills. I mean, San Diego State, the rushing attack that you guys have put together this year, led by Adam Mwema and Walter Casey, and of course, Walter's not going to be able to play in the bowl game, and I think that's going to be a factor because he had such a fantastic season in tandem with Adam Mwema. But you've got Mwema, you'll have Chase Price, obviously, but an offense where you guys average about 215 yards per game rushing. BYU allows about 85 yards a game rushing, so something's got to give there, I imagine, and I kind of put the number at about 150, 175, it seemed to me. If you guys can get into that 150, 175 range, I think you're going to have a good chance to win the game. Do you go into the game thinking that way or not?
Well, I mean, I'm going to give some secrets away here. Lately, we've been working on the spread offense.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to go 4 wides and go from sideline to sideline, probably throw it 50 or 60 times. So,
yeah, I believe that. It's all right with me. I mean, it's all right with me. You can do whatever you like. I mean, we got the talent to be able to do it. We got some wide receivers. I'm sure the Bryce Butler and Dominique Sandifer and Colin Lockett, if they're listening, probably just fell off the couch. They're so excited.
No, I'll tell you what you find out in bowl games is if a team has been successful during the season to play in a bowl game, they're not going to change very much, and we're not going to change very much, and we're going to let the players decide. Whichever team's players execute the best and play the best will win the game. So you don't make wholesale changes when you had a pretty good year. You don't make wholesale changes. You only make wholesale changes when things didn't work.
Right. How about the BYU offense? Give us a little scouting report on Riley Nelson, their left-handed quarterback. They did not have this isn't the typical BYU team maybe that some old-time Aztec fans are used to, like Bob out there, the Jim McMahon teams and the Robbie Bosco teams and the Mark Wilson teams and the Steve Youngs and those guys who came in and terrorized San Diego State and everybody else by putting 40, 50, 60 points up on the board. This BYU team's a whole lot different than that, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're more like we are.
Yeah.
Those teams you're talking about, they were one of the very first teams that went out there and threw it 40 or 50 times in a game. BYU's offense now is big and strong up front. They've got a very talented young freshman running back that's from California, from Summit High School in the Inland Empire. They've got 2 gigantic 6'3", 6'4", 210-pound wide receivers. So they're more pro-type offense, so a lot more like us than the teams you're talking about. So they like to run the ball. They use play action pass and throw it up to the big, tall wide receivers. Both quarterbacks really throw it well, and they scramble pretty well, too.
Is this one of those games where special teams is going to be a big deal? I mean, they're a big deal in every game, but I get the feeling when you go back to the Boise State game, I think a lot of people forget that it was really 2 great special teams plays in that game. One was the kickoff return by Colin Lockett. The other was the block punt by Dwayne Garrett, and that really turned the game in your favor. I know that everybody asks you about offense and defense and running and throwing and stopping the run and the pass and the whole deal, but the coaches are all smart enough to know that the game might come down to those plays on 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking for a momentum shift usually in a close game, and a lot of momentum shifts come in the kicking game. Some good, like a kickoff return for a touchdown or a block punt for you. Well, that was a bad play for the other team.
Right.
I mean, so there's some big swings in momentum in the kicking game. So obviously the kicking game is important in every game, especially a close game. Now we're talking about this going to be a low-scoring game. a lot of times when this happens, when two teams come in and think it's going to be physical and the defense going to dominate, it's going to end up 48-46 or something.
I've seen it happen, yeah. That's right. You expect a really low-scoring game, and it doesn't turn out that way. Polly, do we have anybody out here at Hooley's? Anybody want to ask a question for Coach Rocky Long? Because I don't want to dominate the conversation. If you guys got something out there, you're more than welcome to. There's a guy back there who wants to ask the coach a question. Sure. Get him the microphone here. You want to join us also. 800-600-KOGO is the phone number to dial in. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Say hi to Coach Rocky Long.
Hey, Rocky. How you doing?
Great, thanks.
Good. Big news with the new schedule for next season. What do you think about all that?
Next season's schedule is out, but you only got one game on your schedule right now, right?
Yeah, and when it came out, I had some reporters asking about it too, and they wanted to know what I thought about playing here and what I thought about playing there, and how many times we were going back east. To be honest with you, I know who's in the Big East and I know who's on our schedule, but I haven't thought one thing about it, because right now the only thing I'm worried about is the game that's a week from tomorrow, and then I'll worry about those guys next year, maybe in August.
Are you excited, though, to go into the Big East next year? I mean, and are you excited to leave the Mountain West Conference with a championship? You've won more Mountain West Conference games as a coach than any other Mountain West Conference coach, but you hadn't won a championship. So I know you're not about putting the spotlight on yourself, but I think that it had to be rather gratifying to, in your final year in the Mountain West Conference, to be on top at the end. A little bit, at least?
Well, no, I mean, it's really fun to be part of a championship team. I mean, and to see where we started, and you were there right with us, to see how we started, and I told everybody we were young and we were going to have trouble at the line of scrimmage, but nobody wanted to hear that, and we struggled. And we got a little bit better, and we lost a couple games, and everybody was giving up on us. Not everybody, but a lot of people were giving up on us. And to see the players go, okay, we'll just keep playing, we'll just keep getting better, and then they played and won a game that maybe they shouldn't have in overtime. And the transformation from this team from that moment on to belief in themselves and the way they played, believing they were going to win a championship and doing whatever it took to win a championship, that's a lot of fun to be around. And I've been second place a bunch of times. and as a player, as a coach, and to win the championship is so much fun. And this team did something that a lot of teams haven't done for a long time around here. It's the first team ever to go to 3 straight bowl games. I mean, there's a lot of things this team did. First time in the history of San Diego State that a team has beat a ranked team on the road. So this team has a lot to be proud of, and it's fun to be around them.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. A 7-game winning streak for the Aztecs. They'll take it into the bowl game next Thursday night against BYU. We'll come back. One final segment with the Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year, Rocky Long. That's next from Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill in Rancho San Diego on News Radio AM 600 KOGO.
Go.
All right, final segment. Let's bring it, guys. We're at Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill in Rancho San Diego tonight. That's right, my hometown, Rancho San Diego tonight for the Aztec Football Coaches Show with Rocky Long. And, of course, next Thursday night, it is the Poinsettia Bowl. The Aztecs taking on the BYU Cougars. We have one final segment with Coach Rocky Long. And, Coach, let's talk a little bit about some of the individual accolades that your team received this year. It always comes along with a great season. And some of your all-conference performers, from Leon McFadden right on down the line to Adam Oema, second-team running back, Gavin Escobar, tight end, Nick Embernati up front made the all-conference team as well. I don't want to leave anybody out here. Bryce Quigley was an honorable mention all-conference lineman for you, as was Alec Johnson.
Yeah.
And then you had Nat Burhay, Derek Largent, Jake Feely made second team, which I thought was a little bit of an oversight. I'm not in charge of that stuff, but I thought that Jake Feely should have been first team with the kind of season he had for you. But you got to be proud of all your kids, and I know that you don't teach an individual sport. You teach a team sport, but when you have team success, then a lot of individuals reap the rewards.
They do, and I'm sure that we're all proud of those guys, and they're probably proud of themselves. But the best part of this team is every one of those guys is a team guy. I mean, Adam Oema, in our opinion, should have been first team because he had more yards per carry than any of the guys that were ahead of him. You get an offensive lineman on first. Nick Imbernati's a first-team guy. Those guys deserve it because that's coaches watching film. That has nothing to do with statistics. Alec Johnson was second team. That's a big-time deal. And Bryce Quigley, who just moved to offensive line, getting any votes is something special. So you look at that, and then I agree with you. The defensive players on our team, like Adam Oema, he didn't carry the ball as much as the guys that were on the first team, so he didn't have as many yards. But that's the way we play. I mean, the two-headed monster with him and Walter Casey helped our team more than giving one guy the ball that many more times. And on defense, we play a lot of players. So Jake Feely probably deserved to be first team, but he didn't lead the league in tackles. A couple other linebackers led the league in tackles, so they were, if I remember right, they were the first team linebackers. Right. Even though Jake Feely had a great year and was player of the week 2 or 3 times, Nat Berhe, in our opinion, is a first team guy. Now, Leon McFadden made first team, and he deserves it, and he's been invited to play in the Senior Bowl, which is probably the one that everybody wants to go to because it's coached by pro coaches, and there's a lot more scouts at that one than any other game, and so he gets to go to that one. But, he had a reputation going in. That helped him become first team. He deserved to be first team, but that helped him. And then you have some guys that made, Sam Meredith made honorable mention, Derek Largent made honorable mention. On defense, we play so many players that if you look at statistics, you go, well, this guy made 10 tackles a game and your guy only made 7 tackles a game. Yeah, but our guy played half as many times as your guy did. Right. But statistics make a big deal of the all-conference team.
Gavin Escobar was another guy, the junior tight end, made the all-conference team, deservedly so as well. You're talking a little bit about recruiting. Is this a big recruiting time right now? And obviously, when you have a 9-3 season, does that help? I mean, that's a silly question. It obviously helps. You probably got people calling you a lot more than have been calling you in the past.
I tell you can tell when your program's building and getting better because in the past, the last 3 weekends in January were of utmost importance to us in order to fill out our class. Well, we had a big weekend 2 weekends ago. We had a big weekend last weekend. We had a big weekend this weekend. We don't know how many scholarships. We're not going to have 25, which is the most you can have. We're going to have somewhere between 18 and 20, and we already have 17 commitments. There's a real good chance in January we won't have any recruiting weekends. And that's a sign that kids are deciding to come to San Diego State a whole lot faster than they used to because they don't want to be left out. And that's a great problem to have.
That is a great problem to have. Now, when do the kids have to declare, the juniors have to declare if they want to go on to the NFL or not, a la Gavin Escobar or something? I know every time we see him, we tell him to make sure he stays for his senior year. He's not going to listen to me and Ted, I know that. But when do we find out all about that stuff?
It's right in the middle of January where they have to declare. Okay. We've sent the necessary paperwork into the NFL on Gavin. And we should be getting it back any day that will estimate where he is going to be drafted. And once we figure out where the range he might be drafted in, then obviously we'll talk to him and he'll talk to his family and he'll do what's best for him.
Yeah, he had a great year. And then McFadden's going to be drafted. No question about it in your mind, the senior cornerback. He's NFL quality?
There's no doubt in my mind he's going to get drafted. Now, if he plays really well in the Senior Bowl, he might get drafted really high.
Really? That one bowl game can change out that much for you?
Yeah, because you're playing against other guys that are going to get drafted. Yeah. He's had a great year. He's had a great career. I mean, and he covers the best guys in our league. But in the Senior Bowl, he's going to be covering some of those wide receivers that might be first-round draft choices or third-round draft choices, and if he covers those boys up, his draft status will go way up.
Go way up. All right, we got a couple minutes left. Give me maybe 1 or 2 keys to beating BYU next Thursday night in the Poinsettia Bowl. Let's go out on a thumbs up, positive things that the Aztecs are going to do to knock off the Cougars next Thursday.
Well, I mean, it's the same every week. It doesn't matter who we're playing. It's the same every week. I mean.
And that's why I normally don't ask you this question, but we got a couple minutes left here. So
if we were able to consistently run the ball, and that allows us to use play action pass, and we can get some first downs and maybe score a few touchdowns. And then on defense, we can't give up a big play. We got to make them earn everything they get. But that's the way we've been playing all year. Now we'll probably go for it on fourth down just like we did all year, and hopefully we'll have the same success and those kind of things. And there'll be a big play or two in the game. It might be a turnover. It might be in the kicking game. I think it's going to – I don't know what the score is going to be, but I think it's going to be very close. And I think one big play on one side or the other is going to decide who wins.
BYU's a slight favorite in the game. Do you use that as any motivation with your kids that the odds makers have made BYU a slight favorite, even though you're at home and you're 9-3 and they're 7-5? Do you get into any of that or no?
No, we don't talk about that.
That ticked me off, by the way. I thought we should have been favored. So.
Well, if I remember right, because I look at that in the paper, I think we were 9.5-point underdogs at Boise too. So
right,
I think we're I don't know 7 or 8 point underdogs at Reno too.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm not worried about the fact that you're underdog. I'm just asking if you're going to use that as any motivation.
1 minute.
I don't think we need any more motivation.
No more motivation. All right, I like to hear that. Hey, gang, thanks for coming out tonight to Hooley's Irish Pub and Grill in Rancho San Diego. Nice crowd out here tonight. I want to thank Craig, as always, for hosting us. I really did mean that. I think he will buy you a beer if you just go up and say hi to him. He's that kind of a great guy. And I want to thank the guys from the Learfield Sports Marketing Department, Scott and Polly on the internet. Thanks, you guys. My crew in the back, led by Tiffany and Chris. Thanks. Our on-site engineer is Kevin Boyle. Back in the studio, it's Kevin Finnerty. Coach Rocky Long, let's wish him the best next Thursday night against BYU in the Poinsettia Bowl, the Mountain West Conference Coach of the Year. I'm Chris Ello. Thanks for being with us all season long on the Aztec Football Coaches Show right here on News Radio AM 600 Kogo. Good night, everybody.